This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
It's time for Wyoming Sports Talk today on KRAE. Here are your hosts, Nick and Larry Proetti.
And welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk today. My apologies yesterday for being down and out, so trying to do the rebound back. Our program today being brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne, South Greeley Highway, downtown on KRAE Avenue. Yellowstone Road, again at the corner of Ridge and Del Range and Persian Ridge, Taco John's of Cheyenne, where their fish tacos are back. Key of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. The 2020's on the lot right now, waiting for you to get behind the wheel, take a test drive, and then let the guys do all the paperwork, and you are good to go with your Key of Cheyenne. Don't forget, bring in your trade-ins as well. Platte Valley Bank over on Vanda High, and again, you will find them over at the corner of College and Pershing. Banking done the high technology way, done the old-fashioned way, done every way in between. All of the service you come to expect from Platte Valley Bank, and they do even more. Check them out today. Chick-fil-A, Windmill and Del Range, right across from Powers Field and Menards, where, again, the mac and cheese is a perfect addition to your chicken sandwich, your waffle fries, even a vanilla shake. They serve up 3 delicious squares Monday through Saturday. Windmill and Del Range, again, across from Powers Field and Menards. Medicap Pharmacy, for all your pharmaceutical needs. See Gene and the wonderful staff today on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Shop inside, or you can use the convenient drive-thru. B&B Appliance and TV at 714 Central Avenue, your home for Maytag, along with GE, Frigidaire, Whirlpool, and more. Bruce and the crew invite you to come on by, and remember, they service what they sell. B&B Appliance and TV, 714 Central Avenue. Lennox Auto Body over on Dunham, the Auto Glass and Detail Center over on Pershing Boulevard. Yeah, Mother Nature's been unkind to our vehicles, but that's when you need Lennox Auto Body especially. So give Heather a call, 634-6608, whatever is ailing your vehicle right now. Let Heather and her great staff take good care of you today. First Year Bank, 1508 Stillwater Avenue, open Monday through Friday, again, where they are offering some fantastic CD rates. And, of course, Mondello's Pizzeria, right across the street, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons, where their pizza, Joe's Pizza, is ranked in the top 10 by the Food Network, folks. Yes, they love Joe's Pizza. You will love Joe's Pizza. I love Joe's Pizza. Fresh, delicious, always with fresh ingredients, and other goodies always served up, too, at Mondello's Pizzeria. Open 7 days a week, Sundays, noon until 8. Our scoreboard, it's being brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. Here's Nick.
NHL action for tonight on three games on the slate. You will see the Colorado Avalanche at home down there at the Pepsi Can. They will take on the Buffalo Sabres. That game happening tonight at 6 o'clock, and you can watch it on NBC Sports Network. Also, 2 out in Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada at T-Mobile Arena. The Vegas Golden Knights will play host to the Edmonton Oilers in the Battle of the Pacific. And last but not least, in Staples in L.A., the Kings will play host to the Pittsburgh Penguins. That game also 2 on NBC Sports Network. And that's what's happening in NHL action for tonight. Do want to remind folks coming up this weekend here on 1480 AM, 101.1 FM, 1480KRAE.com. Radio audio only for high school action, as Chris Bolton will be by himself as we got to head up to Sheridan that afternoon on Friday to get ready for LCCC's contest on Saturday. But for Friday night, there live at Story Gymnasium, Chris Bolton will have the calls, as it will be Cheyenne East versus Cheyenne Central. Boys versus girls. Girls up first at 5:30. Tentative start time for the boys around 7 o'clock, so about 5:10-ish pregame show here on 1480 KRAE coming up this Friday. And also, too, Saturday, as I mentioned, JUCO action, as it is first-round playoff, at least matchup between LCCC, the Lady Golden Eagles, as they'll travel up to Sheridan to see the Lady Generals. That game is set for a 2 o'clock tip-off, so about 1:40-ish pregame show on 1480 AM, 101.1 FM, 1480KRAE.com, and video live streaming up there live from the Golden Dome, Periscope via Twitter, and also to the 1480 KRAE YouTube channel.
And let's check out our NBA scoreboard on tap for this evening. It will be the Harlots. How about the Charlotte Hornets in the Spectrum? This is what happens when you're sick. Your mind is just toast. In the Spectrum Center, Charlotte, North Carolina, it will be Charlotte taking on the New York Knicks. Let's try it again. The Cleveland Cavaliers at home. They'll entertain the Philadelphia 76ers. Wizards tonight in the Cap One Arena in D.C. They have a date with the Nets. Timberwolves and Heat at American Airlines Arena in Miami. Magic and the Hawks at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, GA. In the Toyota Center in Houston, the Rockets will take on the Grizz. Mavs and the Spurs tonight in the AT&T Center in San Antonio at the Talking Stick Resort Arena in Phoenix. Absolutely gorgeous building. Nick, I think you'll agree. Phoenix Suns will host the LA Clippers and the Utah Jazz tonight in the Vivint Smart Home Arena in Salt Lake City. They have a date with the Boston Celtics. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
At Mountain Dew, we say here's to the doers.
The people who know you gotta do what you gotta do.
Who do it big.
Then do it bigger.
Who don't just watch.
So if there's something you wanna do,
Here's a little advice.
Grab yourself an ice-cold Mountain Dew.
then get to it.
That's right. Get going.
Get started.
Stand up.
Jump up.
Grab hold of it.
Throw down on it.
Run with it.
Now. Right now.
Not tomorrow.
Not next week.
Next month.
Next year.
Work it out.
Grind it out.
Get stoked.
Get passionate.
And do it.
Do it till it hurts.
Do it till you can't.
Do it till you've done it.
And most of all, don't ask how other people do it.
Don't ask how you should do it.
Don't ask if it can be done.
Don't ask if it's ever been done.
Because there are those who don't.
And those who do.
At Mountain Dew, we say,
Let's do.
Let's do.
Let's do.
Let's do.
Do the do.
Fat, lazy, and stupid is no way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
A lot better voice than it was yesterday, and we knew it on Monday, Nick, that was not going to make the call here yesterday, but I had to go do my show over on the FM side since I was the only one there, and I'm glad that you decided to, put a capper on the program yesterday. So we're back at it today. We got a busy show coming up. We will talk with East High Athletic Director Jerry Schlabs in a few moments. He will be joining us here.
School gets out about 3:15, so we'll be heading on over our way here very soon. So, again, we'll talk with him. Important game coming up, regular season game.
Right.
Finale at Story Gymnasium, where Central will be the host school coming up. But, again, it is a neutral site between Cheyenne East and Cheyenne Central this Friday. Again, happening here in town over at Story Gym. So we'll talk about, at least get his thoughts on that.
Get his
recap
thoughts
the basketball.
on the quadrant, too, because this quadrant thing has been it's another screwball-y thing from the Wyoming High School Activities Association, which, again, they just keep making themselves look more and more dumber each day. But that, and he'll probably think it's a good thing, but we'll let him talk about that. We also have Shaun Gutting joining us, and Shaun took over this year as the head coach over at Casper. He was on the bench last year, so it's his second season technically at Casper. But after the head coach left last year, he was named the head coach. And they have a date with the LCCC Golden Eagles coming up Saturday afternoon. Unfortunately, Golden Eagle fans, we will not be able to carry that game. We can't be two places at once since we'll be in Sheridan at 2 p.m. That game will end at 4. It's a little tough to make it down 90 and 25.
Yeah, not going to attempt to call both of those games. Instead, we're going to go with the LCCC Lady Golden Eagles coming up at least this Saturday, Sheridan, 2 o'clock up there at the Golden Dome. So, again, with LCCC being the higher seed of the two, again, LCCC heading into that contest as number 5 seed, LCCC on the men's side, number 7 seed, taking on number 2 seed, Casper College. But, again, we'll preview that matchup coming up. Again, that game happening at the Swede. That is first-round playoff game to get into the Region 9 tournament that is going to be hosted on the mid-side out in Rock Springs due to the fact that Western Wyoming won the division.
And we will also have comments from head coach Alan Edwards as the Cowboys again fall last night at the AA, the Nevada Wolfpack in town, and the Cowboys dropped 2-15 in Mo West play. So
sounds about right.
Yeah, we'll have his comments coming up. And again, good effort, Jake Hendricks. 27 points last night. Unfortunately, they just couldn't get the job done at home once again. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout, and we're going to be joined by East High Athletic Director Jerry Schlabs right after this here on 1480 KRAE.
Hop into the KRAE Time Machine each Monday through Thursday for the golden age of radio, featuring famous radio classics such as Jack Armstrong and Suspense Theater, along with pioneers in the entertainment industry like Bob Hope and Abbott and Costello, along with many other performers who've captured our ears many, many years ago. Join us for the golden age of radio Monday through Thursday, 8 until 10 p.m. on 1480 KRAE, also 101.1 FM, and you can also stream all of our programming on 1480krae.com.
It's Beatlemania all over again with the Fab Four, the ultimate Beatles tribute.
It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working. It was 20 years ago today, saw the puppet on the back to play. Hey Jude, don't make it by yesterday.
See them live at the Cheyenne Civic Center on Friday, May 15th. Tickets and info available at everbright.com and the Civic Center box office. It's a show you won't want to miss. The Fab Four at the Cheyenne Civic Center on Friday, May 15th. Produced by Emporium Presents. Family owned and operated Lennox Auto Body, along with the Auto Glass and Detail Center, has been serving our community for over 25 years with quality service and workmanship. So when you want it done right the first time, call Lennox Auto Body at 634-6608 for an appointment. Lennox Auto Body at 1020 Dunn Avenue. And the Auto Glass and Detail Center, remember, it's not clean until it's Lennox clean at 617 East Pershing Boulevard.
Lennox Auto Body, no shortcuts, no compromise.
At Platte Valley Bank, we love to see our customers come through the door. Well, we know life can be busy and you don't always have time to come to the bank. That's why we offer user-friendly online and mobile banking products with features such as bill pay, recurring transfers, mobile deposit, and now digital wallet. At Platte Valley Bank, you can manage your money how you want, when you want. Whether you prefer to bank in person, over the phone, or online, Platte Valley Bank makes it easy to take care of your finances.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Brandt Audiology and Sherrard Hearing Centers have teamed up and are now Brandt Audiology and Tinnitus. Hi, I'm Dr. Ruby Zubrod. Our new team allows us to work with Audibel and all national hearing aid brands. We now cover many communities in the southeast Wyoming and western Nebraska area. Call to schedule your appointment so our team can help you with any hearing health care need. Call 426-4327 or find us at brandtaudiology.com.
Capital Lumber is number one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need.
Since 1966, family-owned and operated Capital Lumber Company has been the stop for all lumber, paint, tools, accessories, remodel and do-it-yourself projects, and so much more. Now, Capital Lumber Company announces the beginning of a tasty relationship with Traeger Grills, as they now have in stock several models of Traeger Grills, along with pellets and accessories. Capital Lumber Company at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be partly cloudy with highs around 37 and winds out of the west at 15 to 20 miles per hour. For tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 27 and winds out of the west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. On Thursday, it'll be sunny with highs around 39, and on Thursday night, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 25.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing!
And it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk. Today is our pleasure to talk with East High Athletic Director Jerry Schlabs. And Jerry, there's a lot of things that we're going to get into, and Nick was even talking about a bunch of stuff off air with you concerning the regional tournament. But I'm going to go from the dad standpoint, because you and Chad Goff, and even Chad Whitworth, you're all at that age where you guys have more miles left than I do, but the bottom line is all your kids now are coming up through these programs. And I know when Nick and Marissa were going through East High, I always made that point to be at every one of their events as well too. But it's got to be a very gratifying time for you, even though you have to watch over all sports, but you get that opportunity to see your son play.
Oh, absolutely. You're exactly right, and thanks for having me on today. It's been such a fun year. My son's a ninth grader this year, and I played football, and he's playing basketball right now. My daughter is going to be there next year, and so you said it. There's a lot of coaches right now that just happen to have kids the same age. So not only is it fun watching our own kids, it's exciting to watch those kids they've been playing with since they were second and third graders. And you're right. It's been a special year for me as a dad. It's been fun. Obviously, our priority as an AD is to do what we do at the high schools and get teams ready and get the programs and the games going. But it makes it extra special to be able to go out there and watch your kids participate. And my son has had a blast this year at East High School. He's got a great group of friends, and this winter season he's played a ton of basketball, at the freshman, sophomore, and JV level. So it's been a really exciting time for him, and it's going to be even double next year when my daughter's there as a ninth grader.
Let's go into the winter sports season. When we were getting underway with summer, fall, we got a lot of things going on, and it seems like it moves so fast. Winter sports, which predominantly is basketball, wrestling, you got a little bit of swimming going on. But the bottom line is it seems like the winter sports kind of drag on a little bit because it does, and again, it does take up a lot of those cold days where we're indoors. But, man, I'll tell you what, it's just like the winter sports season has got to be the busiest of them all.
Oh, without a doubt. You're right. It's, you have those breaks in between as well. They start that week of Thanksgiving and then go to the second week of March. And you said it. It kind of goes, you're kind of going through the preseason, and it seems like then you have that Christmas break and Thanksgiving break, and it seems like that kind of takes a while, and then you hit conference season, and then that seems like it's over in a snap. And that was the way I felt when I was coaching as well. And you're right. It's very busy. You have things going all week. You have lower level games going during the week. You have the varsity matches going on the weekends. And like you said, it's a very busy place. You have people practicing in both gyms. Our indoor track teams are running the hallways. The wrestlers are in the wrestling room, swimmers. It's very, very busy, but very fun. And then it seems like I said, when the conference season hits and all of a sudden it's, and next week we have regionals and state, and then you wrap it up and you're ready for the spring sports, which we started getting ready for this week already.
Well, and again, it's busy on the court or in the swimming pool, wherever it may be in the winter athletics there at Cheyenne East, but also too off the court, and something as well too, if you kind of take precedent and you look on whether it is kind of us releasing that news or again through Cheyenne East, but this is kind of also through that time where a lot of student athletes from various sports kind of sign those letter of intent to, again, those higher level opportunities, whether it's D1, JUCO opportunities. So, again, Cheyenne East, as always, kind of been busy of trying to move on those seniors on to that next level to give them that additional athletic opportunity this season.
Absolutely. I've always been amazed, especially about the last 5 or 6 years. We've always had kids sign each year, but it just seems like to me that, I think in the last couple of years, we've probably had 20 plus kids a year sign to play at the next level. Like you said, whether it's D1 or NAIA or Division II or JUCO, whatever it happens to be, it's a great testament to what our programs are doing, what our coaches are doing, and obviously the hard work that the kids put in. And we had a couple kids sign a couple weeks ago. Brody Klein, one of our reserve basketball players, just came to me the other day. He's going to sign and play golf. So we're going to do a signing for him in the next couple of weeks. And it's a very exciting time. And I always tell him, I'm like, there's such a small percentage of kids that have that opportunity to do it. So we're very excited and proud of those kids that have that opportunity and have taken advantage of the things they have at East High School.
And heck, 2 of those alum we get to see over at LCCC on the men's side of things, one being Eric Oliver, and also 2 Onyx Jackson, former Cheyenne East products that are part of that JUCO system that have at least moved on. Both of them are freshmen this year with LCCC men's basketball. But talking about...
I was going to say add Sam Merich, Principal Sam Rich's son, Nick.
That
was at
Eastern Wyoming.
Eastern Wyoming, too. We had 3 East grads playing that this past week.
Yeah, at least out there at the racket without doubt. But keep it on the basketball theme, though, Jerry. We'll talk, or at least kind of get in depth right now of where it is, the kind of meat and potatoes right now at Cheyenne East. All eyes in this city and also, too, over at Cheyenne East where, besides Central kind of fighting with Cheyenne East of being that crown favorite to take the state championship right now in both girls and boys, where both teams have a great opportunity to come away with state championships. But talk about at least seeing right now what is happening right now on both boys and girls with the Lady Thunderbirds and Thunderbirds of that. They are these leading teams that, again, amongst Class 4A, the state of Wyoming, they are kind of that feared team right now to take it all.
Absolutely, and we're proud of that as well. Like you said, it's the last few years there's been so much parity in the state when it comes to basketball, and there is again this year, at least in the top, 4, 5, 6. Central probably is a little bit ahead because they just have so much size, and when you got a kid like Lawson, the 7-footer, he's kind of a one-man wrecking crew and can change the game for anybody that has someone like that. But we're super athletic, and what we're really proud of at East and both those programs is just, one of the hardest things in high school is being consistent. And you're going to have your ups and downs, and you're going to have, those cycles of kids where you have a lot of talent, and maybe when the next year you don't have so much talent. And our coaches and our programs have done a great job, in my opinion, of being consistent and always being in the mix year in and year out. And this year's no different. Like you said, what a fun weekend coming up this weekend with these Central games. Once again, 1 versus 2 or 2 versus 3 with the girls. And, any of those teams can win a state championship. And, I guess you just want to be competitive each year. That's kind of our motto. Your goal is always to win a state championship. That's not so easy to do because the ball has to bounce your way and things have to go right. But you always want to be in the mix and have a shot at it. And I think both our boys and girls have a good shot as anybody in the state this year.
And also, too, that's where you kind of give credit as well, too, with what you have in place right now, the systems for both boys and girls. Again, on the girls' side, head coach Eric Westling, of what he's been doing in recent seasons. Again, he's been a part of that East High program, but now, at least as the head man for the past 2 seasons, Rusty Horsley, who was a former girls coach, now being boys, but again, he knows Cheyenne East as well as Eric Westling. But again, give also to credit to what they've been doing as you talk consistency. They are kind of the epitome of keeping it consistent over there at Cheyenne East.
Absolutely. Those guys do a tremendous job, and they don't only do it, people see them doing the things with the varsity games, and they're great coaches, and they do a super job, but they spend so much time in the off season, the summer, and I know even more of that now that my kids are involved in that, and they build programs, and from the freshmen, I'll throw out some kudos to our freshman boys basketball team. They were the 2020 Geldine champs this year. They beat Rock Springs, Kelly Walsh, and Central in the championship up in Casper this last weekend, and that was the first time we've won that 9th grade league, which is a ton of fun for them. Our JV boys team has lost 3 games. The sophomores haven't lost a game. I think the girls program from freshman to JV have probably lost about 4 games this year. So they kind of build that that feeling of winning throughout all levels, and obviously that pays off when those kids become varsity athletes.
This rivalry, especially on the basketball court, and we saw good crowd out for the football, and again, there is nothing in this state that matches it. Yes, Casper, Kelly Walsh, and Natrona get together. Gillette now will try to have that rivalry. Rock Springs is trying to have that rivalry with Green River, but there's nothing, and we've always said Laramie is our real natural rival, but there's nothing like an East Central basketball game at Story Gym. Again, as we always, the cliche words throughout the records, you know it from the first time you met. A lot is on the line here the second time they're going to meet. What makes this such a community event?
Well, it's just so much fun. I think, like in our community, you have the rivalry where the kids obviously want to beat each other on the basketball court or the football field. But what's unique about us is then we have we have sports where it may be hockey or lacrosse or especially baseball, obviously, where those kids all play together and they're not only rivals but then they're teammates, and so that makes it fun. When the teams are as talented as they are this year, obviously that adds a little spice to it. And then, like you said, it doesn't matter what game is or even what the records are. Story Gym is it's a fun place to play. The community loves it. The coaches love it. The kids love it. And it's just a great community event, as you said. And then when you throw in the talent that both the boys and girls from both sides have this year, that just magnifies the game and gets more people interested. And the fun part is what you said. You can throw the records out. So if one team's better or than the other in a specific year, that doesn't really mean anything. And that's the case, and that's what really makes a rivalry. And like you said, it's been fun. I've coached in it. I've played in it. And I've watched it as an AD, and I'll be watching it as a parent as well. And it's just a ton of fun for the entire Cheyenne community.
Nick, you made a good point when you were talking about a lot of East kids going on to that next level. And again, you're almost like a proud papa seeing these young men and women move on to the next level. As an athletic director, and I think we've asked the coaches this too, phone calls, inquiries, do they go straight to the guys and to the ladies? Do they go to the coaches? how involved do you get when somebody's, and we'll talk about McCord, Xavier McCord, who's having just a great year for you on the basketball side, and it's nice to see that young man really step up his game. How involved do you get, and do you get the inquiries as well?
Yeah, you bet. I do. I probably more to the coaches, but I definitely am contacted quite often I just got a coach that I was talking to yesterday about one of our cross-country runners. And so they definitely come through our athletic department. Sometimes they meet with the coach, but where they talk X's and O's with the coaches, and obviously they talk about the player as a whole, their character and things like that. Those are the questions I get mostly about the kids. How do they do in school? How are they as a teammate? How are they in the hallways? And we really try to reiterate that to the kids, that's what those people look at. It's an investment to those colleges, to recruit these kids, and so we try to start teaching them that at a young age, and we let them know that we share that with those people, and so I play a small part, but like you said, we are very proud of them, and it's kind of a team effort going, getting those kids to that next level.
Let me throw a follow-up. Is there a special feeder school that is always in contact with Cheyenne East? Again, I know we sent some young men and ladies over to the University of Wyoming, but I also, South Dakota comes to mind, that we sent a lot of youngsters off to South Dakota. Is there a feeder school that Cheyenne East is in bed with, so to speak?
Not really, not necessarily. We definitely have some schools around that, are the smaller schools that our kids have a better opportunity to attend. There was a time there we were sending a lot of kids to Sioux Falls. It seems like the last few years, Chadron's taken a big interest in, not only East High School, but the schools in Wyoming. And so there's a lot of kids from Wyoming going to Chadron. It's, some of the junior colleges, like you said, you're always looking at the JUCOs in Wyoming. Those guys are obviously very interested in our kids, and those are great opportunities for our kids as well. So there's not necessarily a feeder school, but in my time, it does seem like it kind of cycles where you have, about 3 or 4 years where you have a lot of interest from a specific school before it kind of goes to the next school.
Especially with LCCC, it doesn't hurt when, at least now retired, but former head coach again, where you had over there the women's soccer program, where he was former head coach at Cheyenne East, now also to now head coach Rebecca Valdez, who should be a part of that new crew with LCCC women's soccer, again, kind of being that feeder program over there. We've seen a lot of Cheyenne East products on the soccer fields there for that nationally ranked program that has been phenomenal here in town. But at least, Jerry, want to talk about more so part of the job description, or at least requirements for you, and that comes with hiring, or at least looking to get at least new folks in the athletic department. Something that came across about a couple weeks where we learned, as we have an understanding here in the state of Wyoming, that softball is a thing here in the high school ranks. Laramie, I do believe, was the first school, or at least one of the first schools, to announce their new head coach for their softball program. What's kind of the time frame? Do we have an understanding? Have we been in the hiring process right now for a softball head coach at Cheyenne East?
We haven't yet, but that's a great question, and it's going to come very quickly. We talked way back when we were going through the process of getting softball approved. Not only in our district but at the state. Our timeline was kind of do something in the spring as far as hiring head coaches, and that's still the plan. I'm guessing we'll probably get together as athletic directors with our district administrative team, and probably right after basketball and state wrestling, and kind of make that plan. But I would, I'd assume that we're probably going to do that within the next month or month and a half, just so that the coaches can be involved, because we're going to have to start making a lot of plans as far as equipment, uniforms, things we're going to maybe do in the off season, practice, those types of things. And we obviously want the head coach and the assistant coach involved in that entire process. So I think the plan was spring, and it's still that, and I'm assuming it's going to be probably within about the next month or so.
How much involvement has Laramie County School District number 1, obviously Dr. Boyd Brown, have with the city right now? Because obviously we're going to be playing on city fields.
Yeah, it's we have a great partnership with the city, and Dr. Brown and Mr. Bartlett have done a tremendous job working with them. They use our schools for a lot of the things as far as the rec league is concerned, and they allow us to use the golf courses and amongst other things, the soccer fields at times we've had to use in the past. And we've talked to them obviously before we said we could do it and said, okay, here's the deal. And it's not only a Cheyenne problem, it's a statewide problem. In Cheyenne in the past, we're not allowed to be on the fields before April 1st. Well, this softball season starts March 9th. And, if it was this year, it'd be March 9th. And so you have about 3 weeks. So we did meet with the state of Wyoming, or with the Wyoming High School Activities Association in January, kind of made a kind of a rough schedule with the teams that are going to be there. How many games are we going to play? The first tournament we're excited is going to be in Cheyenne because of our work with the city and Mr. Bartlett's work with the city. They're going to allow us to use the fields a little bit earlier than some of the other cities are going to be able to. And so that's going to be, it's going to be quite a transition, but at the same time, it's going to be pretty darn fun and exciting for Cheyenne to kind of be the first place that, Wyoming softball is going to happen.
Memo to the city of Cheyenne. You may want to take care of the Canadian geese in the outfield.
Yeah,
anyway, go ahead.
That's not too fun to at least kind of stomp around in or kind of slide into. But either way, though, something that you just said, Jerry, that kind of resonated with me, where it goes back a couple weeks ago when we had Cheyenne South AD Mark Puev in, where you talk about a statewide problem where at least where I'm going to lead with this, Jerry, is that we brought in Mark Puev to talk about a recent quote by his head coach over there, that being former at least Cheyenne East boys coach, now over with the South boys, that being Jeff Bailey, who again had a quote towards the paper of talking about at least more so the transfer rule here in the city of Cheyenne, across the state of Wyoming, becoming it's a growing trend in the city, if not across the state of Wyoming. I just want to get your thoughts, Jerry, on what Coach Bailey had to say, and also, too, again, Mark was very vocal about it, saying that it is a growing trend, but hopefully something that Cheyenne South, or at least throughout the state of Wyoming, can kind of ease bit, or at least get past it, where it's kind of at its peak right now. But what are your thoughts on the transfer issue here in the city of Cheyenne? Is it an issue at all? Is it an issue across the state of Wyoming? What are your thoughts?
I'm not sure if it's necessarily an issue here in Cheyenne. I think with us having boundaries and they're pretty strict boundaries, and there are ways to that kids go from one school and next if they're interested in a program that's maybe not offered at their school, and that can happen at all 3 high schools. To me, I would definitely not say it's not an issue, but to me it's more of a societal issue right now. It's just kind of the way things have kind of gone in the past, where back when you played, and even when you played, Nick, it was you had to deal with some adversity, and you had to, you didn't have, you dealt with it, and you worked hard, and you got through it, whether it was with the coaches or with your parents or whatever happens to be the case. And most kids do that these days. And I'm not saying that if somebody transfers, it's not, it's not a great thing, because sometimes kids do need to transfer, just to give themselves a better opportunity, and not only on the athletic side of things, but just to graduate and in the classroom, because you never know their story, until you know their story. But I think, club may play a part in that. Kids play club ball now when they're third graders, and they start and they play all the time. They get to high school, they may not be one of the starting 5. They may not have the playing time. And so we really try to focus on roles, and we really try to make roles important and explain the roles to kids. But in this day and age, that's not always, that doesn't always, go very far. And so an easy way out, if I don't like it, and it happened in the youth leagues, if I don't like this club team, then my parents going to create this club team. And then you get to the high school, you can't do that, but then you try to find a way to change schools. And in my experience, it doesn't always turn out, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I wish that kids would, and their families would, unless completely necessary, just kind of work with the coaches and work with school and embrace that role. And maybe that role is to just be a great practice player. But it doesn't seem like that's the trend right now. And I don't know if that's going to change anytime soon. I hope so. And I wish that kids, I wish they wouldn't just transfer if something wasn't going their way. And it does seem like that's happening a lot more these days.
Let me go on to the negative side. Matter of fact, just before you walked in, we were talking about the quadrant system. Here we are in basketball right now. And I understand the Wyoming High School Activities Association is trying to do some different things. We saw last year with the regional tournament. I think just about everybody did not like the format last year, but it's in play again this year. Then we add the quadrant system, which gives us 16 teams in Class 4A for basketball. I don't see it. Do you?
Well, we'll see how they feel about it. Anytime there's change, it's always tough, and it always takes a couple of years. So we'll see how people feel about it, this year, the regional tournament, and next year. I think there needs to be some adjustments and some changes within that. And I think a lot of people, we've talked about it as ADs from day one. Next year, we're going to have Kelly Walsh coming in for Natrona. That makes the East a little bit tougher historically. K-Dub the last couple of years has been a little bit better than Natrona. That doesn't mean it's going to be that way every year. But we got some statistics this week that we were kind of looking at from the person that does 4A stats for us. And it is quite a discrepancy in wins and losses over the last 4 or 5 years, East versus West. And so, there's been conversations. Do we take everybody to state? Then you have to start state a day earlier. Out of school time, how's that with regionals? Do you not have a regional? But the thing that we've really looked at is, changing from east-west to north-south possibly every 2 years. The issue is that we talked about north-south early, and then some of those smaller schools that were kind of forced to go into the 16, they're like, well, we won't have a chance. It's not good for our communities. And so we understood that and said, okay, let's go east-west, but we need to keep this door open to explore the possibilities. And I think a good solution right now would be probably to go, hey, let's go east-west for 2, let's go north-south for 2, kind of see where it is and make it a little bit more equitable with the games, because this year, once again, anything can happen in one game, as we know, but this year, if you just looked at records, we might have a team in the East that's our 6th or 7th team that would be 1, 2, or 3 in the other side. And it's you in my opinion, you want your best 8 at state, and right now we're not doing that.
Almost you have to follow the Farmer's Almanac if you want to go north-south, especially here in Cheyenne, to get over to Rock Springs. How many times I-80 has been closed with the wacky winter that it has been. But I want to ask you, Jerry, though, more so on that regional tournament time where, recent seasons and coaches have been vocal with us. Again, they've said it here on this show where, it's kind of a unfair opportunity, or at least not too happy with, hey, we run the table or we are the top dog team here in this conference, or at least in the quadrant. We don't get rewarded. We have to still fight for our at least state lives. Again, where any loss, which we've seen before, again, any team can shock the world, especially if you got to go on the road as these teams do up to Gillette. But again, want to get your at least thoughts. Again, you being a former head coach, what would be the perfect system regarding the regional tournament? Should we have that award system for those top teams who automatically get the state bid? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I agree. And when I was a coach, I thought even with our old regional format, I kind of thought the teams that were 1 and 2, you could end up 3 or 4, and based on one weekend versus you might have been 10-0 during the conference season. And so your entire conference season didn't mean as much as one weekend. So I see that side of it. The regional tournament for communities, now that I'm an AD, and for the kids and the players, is a lot of fun. That tournament atmosphere and the games are intense. But like you said, if the conference season where it's spread out over 2 months or that does need to mean something, and to be upset or not be able to go to state if you went 10-0 or 9-1 in the conference or whatever the case may be now, I guess, that is kind of a sticky situation. And I don't know, we've talked about maybe 1 plays 2 and maybe 3 plays 4. You have a couple of the lower teams playing to see where they're at. And that's not a bad solution either. You have 1 host 2. You'd still hopefully have a big crowd. You'd have some gate for the Wyoming High School Activities Association because that's kind of how they run. So there's a lot of those thoughts and proposals that have been talked about. We just probably have to get together with a group as a group with the coaches and kind of see what people want. And like I said, since I've been AD, getting that group to be on the same page is easier said than done.
It's interesting. I want to go back to the quadrant, though, real quick on the quadrants. And all I could think of was the WAC 16 when Commissioner Benson put in the WAC 16, and we lost the BYUs. We lost the Utahs. And, Jerry, you have been a part of this as a coach, so you know what I'm talking about. We've had I-25 EWAC. We've had I-80 where we had the West up against the East. And again, we keep Laramie, South, and Central along with Cheyenne. So we have our natural quadrant rivalry. But then you start messing around with, the Gillettes. I think everybody in this part of the world loves when we play Thunder Basin and Gillette High School and Sheridan, and then all of a sudden now we're going to, and again, no disrespect to the West. We're going to play Green River, we're going to play Rock Springs, we're going to play Evanston, and we're going to play Jackson. I mean, doesn't it take away from
you talk about gate. It's going to take away from some gates when we get into regular seasons.
Possibly. I think there's two sides to that, and some of the East or some of the West teams, you'd think some aren't for it and some actually are, because they're like, you know what, if we're ever going to compete them and we're going to compete with them, you got to play them and you got to get better by playing that competition. And that was the case back when I was coaching. We were north-south for some of those years. And, when Kristen Newland was at Riverton and those kids were there. Evanston had some great teams with J.C. Carroll and those kids. I agree. It would take away from some of those rivalries that we have, because right now every weekend is a huge weekend for us. And like you said, even losing with the quads in the 16, we only played the Gillettes one time each, and we only played Sheridan Natrona one time each, instead of having double, home and aways against them. And even that took a little bit away, because you want to see those squads and you want to be, you figure out things as you go. We're excited to play Central this weekend for the same reason. How do you prepare for a team that's as tall as they are unless you can play them? You can't reproduce that in practice. And so I think there's positive and negatives. I think it would affect kind of the natural excitement and what people are used to, but I think you would also at the same time develop some new rivalries, and it would probably, if past experience is any indication, it probably would make basketball a little bit better in the state of Wyoming.
We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back with more. And again, we want to thank Jerry Schlabs for joining us here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. East Central again, 5:30 for the ladies, 7 o'clock tap time for the guys.
Do want to at least final question for Jerry
I'm
to
sorry.
allude
I'm not trying to kick you out of here.
As again, athletics is still far from done though at Cheyenne East, and again all high schools here in town. Talk about what's upcoming after, again, as we're winding down basketball season. Athletics still keep going, though, at least before we hit at least schools out time at Cheyenne East, at least with girls and boys soccer. Just talk about what's upcoming right now for the Thunderbirds.
You bet. I appreciate that. And we have state wrestling this weekend, of course, along with the East Central game, which we're super excited about. Our wrestlers have a chance. They're going to be right in the mix for a state championship. Indoor tracks next week. And then, like you said, we have soccer, both boys and girls soccer, starting the week we go to state basketball. They start practice, as well as outdoor track. And so, down the road, we'll have our boys and girls soccer teams participating, hopefully, with the spring weather. We have our big track meet, the Okie Invite, April 17th this year. And so, like I told Larry when we first started the conversation, we've been working hard this week on getting all that information out on our spring sports, and because it's here in 2 weeks. And so we're excited for that. The coaches have been doing open gyms for both track and soccer, and I know those kids are excited to go.
Well, Jerry, we want to thank you again for coming on by. We appreciate it. And again, looking forward to hoops coming up on Friday night again. That'll be 5:30 pregame, tap time for the girls. And then at 7 o'clock will be the guys. We'll be on there 5:10 with our pregame from Historic Story Gymnasium. Jerry Schlabs, East High Athletic Director, join us here on 1480 KRAE. Take a timeout. We'll be right back.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Did you know B&B Appliance and TV has a local warehouse where they stock a variety of appliances in a wide range of colors and finishes, including black and white? Their friendly staff realizes that one look isn't for everyone, and appliance shopping isn't always convenient. B&B Appliance offers free in-town delivery and disposal of your old appliances. They'll be there for you after the sale, too, because they always service what they sell. B&B Appliance and TV, 714 Central Avenue. Best brands, hometown service.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. Our Super Radio buys, heard only right here, feature Black Velvet 1.75-liter bottle, $12.99. Pabst Blue Ribbon 24-pack, 12-ounce can, $16.49. And Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 Tennessee Whiskey, 1.75-liter bottle, $34.99. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
Every day we have the opportunity to lead by example. In delivering reliable, affordable, and responsible electricity to power what matters to you, we are taking bold steps to change how your energy is produced. With 50% of your electricity coming from renewable sources by 2024, Because as a cooperative, we are changing together. Whatever the future holds, we'll power it. Tri-State and High West Energy. Cooperative power. Transformed.
Are you thinking about buying a new water heater? You could spend $1,300 or more on a gas-fired water heater. Or you could spend $0 on a top-of-the-line electric water heater from High West Energy. That's right, $0. High West members can upgrade from gas to electric without spending a penny. Don't you wish all decisions were this easy? Go to highwestenergy.com to learn more or call 307-245-3261. High West Energy, the best choice, the local choice, the right choice for you.
When you are dealing with the coin shop to buy, sell, or trade your gold, silver, or other precious metals, you will be met with honesty, fairness, knowledge, and exceptional customer service. The Coin Shop has been serving Cheyenne since 1982 and is a respected member of our community. Call David today at 778-7196 to meet privately or visit during regular business hours, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. The Coin Shop, a dealer you can trust, 510 West 16th Street.
For almost 60 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY-FM and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Don Morris at 307-637-0301.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be partly cloudy with highs around 37 and winds out of the west at 15 to 20 miles per hour. For tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 27 and winds out of the west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. On Thursday, it'll be sunny with highs around 39, and on Thursday night, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 25.
Got something to say? Then get it off your chest right now. Phone lines are open at 307-514-1071. Make your opinion count and call the show. Wyoming Sports Talk today.
Like I would always tell our guys, you want to get out there and put yourself in position to win the basketball game. I didn't think we played great, but I thought we played hard. They were just better. Really, obviously, good pieces as well. Jalen, I think, is a really good basketball player. Jazz is, and I thought we did a great job on Jazz tonight. But hard fought. What I said to the team afterwards, that's kind of what I echoed at halftime. We had to continue to defend the three-point line. They had 2 3-pointers in the first half, and they end up getting 6 in the second half. In the other area, which I always talk to our guys about, especially with us being small, is rebounding the basketball or gang rebounding the basketball. And they had 8 offensive rebounds in the second half, some for putbacks or some popped back out for the three-point shot. But outside of that, I thought our guys competed on 22 made baskets by ourselves. I complimented them on having 15 assists with that. It shows that, we were looking for each other and did a good job putting in our free throws as well. But we just came up short against a good team. So.
Jake just said that when y'all were down 3 about 17 seconds ago, took the timeout, that y'all were trying to get a quick 2 without extend. But the way he was shooting the ball, was there any thought to try to draw some up for him to get him looking through?
No, it was more something going downhill to either get fouled or get a 2, and then get right back in the press. If we would have scored, it probably would have called timeout. But with the way he was shooting, the only other thought was using him as a decoy, because that was one person. I respect Alfred enough as a basketball coach to say that guy was probably not going to get a shot. But we did break him up to try to set a brush screen and have Maldo play downhill. Just thought we got a little congested and wasn't spaced enough. And actually, to be honest with you, probably should have just called another timeout And then if that would happen, then yes, at that point in time, we'd probably need to get a 3-up. Yeah.
Disappointing to not be able to pull this one out the way he played in his last game? Here?
Well, to what I stressed to our guys even leading up to this game was, the big picture was to go out and compete and win the basketball game. The small piece inside of it is we wanted to play for Jake and AJ as 2 seniors and 2 guys, both JUCO guys that have been in 2 years, but guys that represented our program the right way. And I said that to our team, and I emphasized that those are the type of kids that we want in our program, and I said right way. I didn't say perfect, because I think at the end of the day, when they're probably away from us, that's probably things that college students do. But as far as when they're with us and not being troubled kids, doing what they're supposed to do academically, never late for stuff, I thought they set a great example for the young group. And I actually had them speak to the group because, I've been through it as a basketball player myself, and what young people or guys younger in your program don't always understand how quickly that time passed. And that was one of the things they echoed to the group, to treasure it, but it goes by quickly. And what I wanted the younger guys to understand was, and again, in the smaller picture, doing it for Jake and AJ and leaving everything out there on the floor. So kind of getting outside of yourself and just playing as hard as you can to put us in position to win the basketball game for those 2 guys.
It was, I think Quan made a couple free throws and got down to, I think, a point with like 3 minutes and 10 seconds left. And, in that last game, there have been moments during the year where you guys couldn't get over the hump.
Yeah.
You guys got over the hump in that last game. Did this one feel like one where you were going to get over the hump?
Well, no, you know what? I enjoy those type of games because, it was a good game, at the end of the day. And it was, you just emotionally, you was engaged with it. Where we were able to get over the hump was obviously Maldo down at Air Force. During that point in time, I thought guys were looking for Jake, and I'm yelling at Maldo to go get the basketball, and we end up coming up empty-handed on that possession, and I think we gave up a layup on the next possession. But and I don't say this to make an excuse, but sometimes people don't understand this. I really love Maldo. And that kid, you guys don't understand how he plays when he's banged up, and he's still out there 35 minutes giving us everything he has. And he's going up, getting on the bike. He's going back to the training room. Dallas is stretching him. Dallas is but that's a guy that cares about this team and is willing to do whatever. And even when I was yelling at him, I just saw something and said, Coach, I really can't move right now. But love him because he's willing to do whatever, for the team. But, and I guess what I'm saying is that getting over that hump part, at the end of the day, he's our guy, when we're talking about putting ourselves in position. But like you said, Jake had a good night tonight. I thought they were looking for Jake. And I thought, conversely, during that last stretch, I thought Jazz did a good job chasing them all around.
What we saw Maldo on the bike. What did he pull something?
It's just his back. It's just his back. It's just something that he deals with. I don't know if it's ever going to leave. It's just he has to continue to spend time with Dallas. So again, load management. Throughout the year, throughout practice, there's times where you just, have to sit some just because of it. But, he's a high basketball IQ kid, and, even tonight, I still thought he played well. didn't play great, but I thought he played well. 14 points, 4 assists, and 5 rebounds. Did a little bit of everything, and sometimes we have to put him on bigger guys. So he's down there banging with number 1, number 12, even number 42 sometimes. But I love him.
Is it the same spasms and stuff he dealt with last year?
Same stuff. But he's not a kid. I mean, he doesn't talk about it, and it really hurts him because I don't mean hurt in the sense of hurt, but hurts him because he doesn't want his team to feel like he's not giving them his all. So the days that he may not practice, or I may keep him out of drills, it's always in the sense of trying to, again, load management or protecting them. But again, I mean, he's a kid that's willing to run through a wall for this program and for the young men that's beside him in the locker room.
I know this can be sort of cliche, but at this point, with everything, the messages you give your team, what is the message at this point as you guys go into the tournament?
My message never changes. It never changes. I've always said, since day one, win or lose, you get back up, you get ready to play your next game. And your next game is the most important game. With this group, and, tonight was no different, we are young in the sense of 11 freshmen and sophomores playing against a veteran group and a team that's probably, I don't know if it's 6, 8 games where it's been decided within the last 2 minutes, that you continue to get these guys to understand every time you get out there, there's an opportunity for you to win. At their place against Nevada, it came down to the last shot. Here tonight, it came down to the last 18 seconds. So it's not like they've packed it in or they don't want to play the game of basketball. I think these young men love the game, and I always talk to them about process. And sometimes you have to go through things that you may not want to go through to get to where you want to get to. So what I even told Jake and AJ and to the team was, and I think you asked me this question, these last 2 years have been tough for those two because of coming out on the wrong end of it. But what I told those guys were, that's the part of their process within the foundation of this young group. When you're looking at, and I thought our freshmen kind of played a little bit like freshmen tonight as well, but Maldo's only a sophomore, Marble, Milton, Kenny Foster, I just continue to talk process, and that's always what I've been about, process. So even after this game, my message didn't change. I talked to them about the things that we did good, the things that we didn't do well, and then being able to go on the road at Fresno on their senior night and compete and put ourselves in position to win the basketball game. I don't think you can say anything differently. And as the leader, what these guys they've never seen crack in me. I've never cracked. I've never shown defeat. I've never shown the fight, whether it's practice or getting ready for the next game in my preparation. These guys will always tell you there's never been a time they haven't been out there on the floor and was unaware of what we needed to do to win the basketball game. So the message doesn't change. We just continue to fight.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. It's time for Wyoming Sports Talk today on KRAE. Here are your hosts, Nick and Larry Proetti.
It is hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it is being brought to you by Mondello's Pizzeria. 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D at the Greenway Commons. Open 7 days a week, Sundays, noon until 8. First Year Banks right across the street at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. You can catch Tim and the great staff over there and their fantastic CD rates. They're open Monday through Friday. Lennox Auto Body over on Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center over on Pershing Boulevard, both part of Lennox Enterprises, serving our community for over a quarter century. B&B Appliance and TV, where they service what they sell. See Bruce and the gang today. They're at 714 Central Avenue in Cheyenne. Medicap Pharmacy, same location as always, Bluegrass Circle, right next door to Texas Roadhouse. Either do your business inside or you can use a convenient drive-thru outside. Chick-fil-A, Windmill and Del Range, right across from Powers Field and Menards. They're serving up 3 delicious squares. Their breakfast, try their hash brown scramble. You're going to love it. It is absolutely delicious with a good piping hot cup of coffee. 2 convenient drive-thrus, again, open Monday through Saturday at Windmill and Del Range. Platte Valley Bank has 2 banking options for you and 2 locations. First, the east side. You can check them out at the corner of College and Pershing, and, of course, the original location on Vanda High. Key of Cheyenne on Nation Way, where, again, they want your trade-ins, but they also want to see what you look like behind the wheel of the new 2020 Optima, the new 2020 Sorrento, the new 2020 Telluride. They're all in the lot for you today for your inspection. Key of Cheyenne on Nation Way. And we also want to thank Taco John's of Cheyenne, where it's back. They're fish tacos for a limited time. So, again, check out all the great fish tacos over at all Taco John's of Cheyenne. And it's scoreboard time. It's being brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. Here's Nick.
NHL action for tonight, 3 games on the slate. Down in Denver at the Pepsi Center, the Colorado Avalanche will play host to the Buffalo Sabres. That game happening tonight at 6 o'clock, and you can watch it on NBC Sports Network. In Sin City and Las Vegas at T-Mobile Arena, the Vegas Golden Knights will play host to the Edmonton Oilers in a Battle of the Pacific. And last but not least, in Staples in L.A., the Kings will take on the Pittsburgh Penguins. That game also, too, on NBC Sports Network. That's what's happening in NHL action for tonight. And want to remind folks, coming up here on 1480 AM, 101.1 FM, 1480KRAE.com is where you can hear the contest only, again, radio only, for Friday's high school action between Cheyenne Central and Cheyenne East, happening over at Story Gymnasium. Chris Bolton will be by himself with the calls. Girls up first at 5:30, boys tentative for 7 o'clock, 5:10-ish pregame show coming up this Friday. Saturday, you and me will be on the road. We will be heading up to Sheridan to see at least first-round playoff game between LCCC women's basketball taking on Sheridan College Lady Generals. That is a 2 o'clock start time up there at the Golden Dome. 1:40-ish pregame show, as we will have all 5 ways for that broadcast. Again, as we are leaving Friday afternoon, so unfortunately can't do the visual side for high school. Instead, we will be doing the visual side for the first-round playoff game for LCCC. 1480 AM, 101.1 FM, 1480KRAE.com. Periscope via Twitter and the 1480KRAE YouTube channel.
We go to the NBA scoreboard on tap for this evening. It will be the Charlotte Hornets tonight at the Spectrum Center. They will entertain the New York Knicks, 76ers, and the Cavaliers in the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, Ohio. The Washington Wizards at home tonight. They'll entertain the Nets. It will be the Timberwolves visiting the Heat at American Airlines Arena in Miami. The Hawks in Atlanta, GA, with a date with the Orlando Magic. Grizzlies and the Rockets in the Toyota Center. Mavericks Spurs in the AT&T Center in San Antonio. Clippers and the Suns at the Talking Stick Resort Arena in Phoenix. And the Utah Jazz in the Vivint Smart Home Arena in Salt Lake City. They have a date with the Boston Celtics. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
I'm Nate.
And I'm Kate.
And we're not just literal taste buds. We're best buds.
And there's nothing that
has now opened a satellite clinic in Torrington at 524 College Drive. Yes, the same wisdom, compassion, and expertise that has served Cheyenne is now available in Torrington. So if you live in the area, save yourself time by calling Cheyenne Urological, now at 307-635-4131. That's 307-635-4131.
John Mason here for Lincoln Way Pond. Please visit us this tax refund season to get the most bang for your buck. We are the largest and busiest pawn shop in Wyoming for several reasons. We have a 20,000 square foot pawn store with thousands of great lightly used items, and we guarantee everything we sell. We also cash refund checks and do payday loans, and we will even sell you your party supplies at Lincoln Way Liquor. That's Lincoln Way Pawn and Lincoln Way Liquor at 2825 East Lincoln Way, Cheyenne.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be partly cloudy with highs around 37 and winds out of the west at 15 to 20 miles per hour. For tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 27 and winds out of the west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. On Thursday, it'll be sunny with highs around 39, and on Thursday night, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 25.
Here the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Well, upcoming for the Golden Eagles this Saturday afternoon, they have a date at the Swede as they will be taking on the Casper T-Birds and again, Casper College Thunderbirds.
The nationally ranked Casper College team.
Right.
Recent polls are number 24 in the land. So, again, another at least top 25 team that LCCC has to face off against this season.
And we get to bring on the head coach of the T-Birds. And again, great bloodlines who, in addition to doing the basketball thing at Casper College right down the road, was a head coach with the Fort Collins Lambkins a few years back. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, Pop is coaching the Impalas, if I'm not mistaken, in Fort Collins. So we get a chance to talk with Shaun Gutting, head coach at Casper. Did I get that all right there, Coach?
Yeah, you did. I was the assistant at Fort Collins High School, but my dad is the assistant at Rocky Mountain High School in Fort Collins.
So, well, yeah, but you still had some say-so, right? You just didn't sit there and just hand towels out, right?
Yeah, right. My opinion mattered. It's a lot easier when you give your opinion as the assistant coach versus the head coach.
So, Shaun, real quick, first off, congratulations on a good season up to this point with your Thunderbirds. We've had a chance to see them twice now, and one of the things that even calling high school basketball for as many years as I did, especially when we've brought really great teams up to the Swede, because day one always with the high schools is at Swede Erickson Gymnasium. And again, I've seen good teams just laying eggs, so to speak, up there. Why is that home venue so tough on opposing teams? You're 13-1 in your own building. Why do you guys have that magic there?
It's tough to say. I mean, I think a lot of it really is just our fan base is really consistent and really, really good, and they have a really good feel for basketball in general. So it's always loud in the gym. The acoustics in the gym make it loud. And I think that honestly just helps. It really just gives us an advantage every night we play here. And I think Coach Canary from the women's team would say the same thing. Just the consistency from the fan base is what really, really makes us successful, on the floor.
I look at your team, and again, too, and I remember Coach Ficco, the first time we met, and had nothing but high praise for David Walker, who didn't play in the last game, as you mentioned. You're trying to get him healthy, a little bit under the weather. And as Coach Ficco said, and I was very impressed. I know he played in the second half against us when we were up at Swede Erickson Gymnasium. But the bottom line is, Coach Ficco, and I'd have to agree, he says David Walker probably is the best player in Region 9. I mean, that's quite the compliment from that head coach. But watching him play, I mean, this guy, if he's not at the next level, boy, something's seriously wrong.
Right. David is one of those guys that you would just consider a special talent. You don't come across guys like that very often. Even in coaching, I could end up being coaching for 20, 30, 40 years, and I'll probably be able to count on one hand the guys that are kind of like David Walker. When it's all said and done, I mean, he is a special talent when it comes to getting to the rim, scoring it, and he just has so much more room to grow basketball-wise that I really look forward to his future, in the next coming years with hoops.
Let's talk about your rest of your team there, Coach. Where for Casper College, at least in the regular season, 11-3 in North Divisional play. Overall record finishing at 24-5. Again, you will be the number 2 seed out of the North, taking on the number 7 seed, that being LCCC, coming up this Saturday, 4 o'clock there, live at the Suite in Casper, Wyoming. But as I mentioned, number 24 according to this week's polls, in the top 25 once again for the Thunderbirds. But let's talk how your team got to this point of being the number 2 seed. Just give us a quick recap of the 2019-2020 Casper College campaign.
Sure, yeah. We came out the gates really hot this year. I mean, we ended up winning at Salt Lake, beating CSI. I think we really, really made a name for ourselves early, and it almost was kind of too early for my liking. Just for the year, we ended up getting a little too comfortable. I think we ended up cracking the top 10 in the first semester. And, it was tough to maintain. And I'd say our losses this year have come on the road and in tough environments, and tough situations, and obviously the Western Wyoming games where Coach Sosa has that team playing really well. So, we're at a point right now where I think we're in a really good place, just trying to make sure we're ready for the regional tournament. I think you don't end up having a special year without taking those lumps throughout the year, and those 5 losses were ones that I thought, for the most part, we could control. And, those are things that we'll have to just keep kind of looking back on and using to finish this year the right way.
As we talk with Coach Sosa out of Western Wyoming, where that team won the Region 9 North again, we'll be hosting the regional tournament. No matter what, if Northwest is possible to upset Western Wyoming again, that will still be the host venue out there in Rock Springs, with the Mustangs winning the North Division. But talk about this North Division, where again you win 11-3 this season, finishing just behind, 1 game behind those Western Wyoming Mustangs. Talk about how competitive this Region 9 North was from top to bottom, where we spotlight that Western Wyoming team where they had struggles alike against Eastern Wyoming, where they actually got the upset victory in Torrington. But just talk about how competitive from top to bottom this year's division was.
Man, I'll say it, compared to last year, I was the assistant here last year. Last year it kind of seemed like it was a 2 or 3 pony race, but this year you can tell that every team improved. Going on the road was not easy against anybody. Even if you go up to Northwest, any of these places, obviously, like Coach Sosa and them, can tell you about Eastern Wyoming. I mean, shoot, we were losing by double digits at their place in the second half. I think, the league is full of really, really high-level coaches, guys that really, really want to be successful. And, they did a good job this year. And I think, honestly, the league always kind of gets overlooked a little bit nationally when it comes to junior college. But this year, the top 4, top 5 teams were just as competitive as just about anybody that we faced throughout the entire regular season.
I look at your team and I think back to the couple of games that we've done with you. And again, I think of the likes of Jalen Harrison, in addition to David Walker and Philip Peppel, who is very important to you in the middle. And then again, coming off the bench is Satchel, who can bang in a few trifectas for you. You've got so many weapons on this team, and again, like with Walker missing against Sheridan, you got a lot of interchangeable parts. You have to feel pretty good when you look down your bench, when you look at somebody to pull out. You got that right person to go into that player's place.
Absolutely. I think it's helped us this far into the season, especially dealing with the injuries and the all the things that you deal with health-wise throughout a year, just a long year. Our depth has helped us a ton to just kind of maintain our success. And I mean, honestly, getting Donovan Freeman back, our freshman point guard who had missed about a month and a half because of a stress fracture in his knee, getting Samuel Cada back. I mean, these are bodies that are very, very capable to start in a lot of places. And having these guys coming off the bench, being willing to play minutes, whenever they can and fill a role has helped us get to this point, and hopefully it continues.
Shaun, what is the magic formula there in Casper? And what I say when I'm saying is that you don't have to rebuild, you just reload each and every year. Why is Casper College a great stop for those that are moving into the JUCO field?
Yeah, I think the consistency as far as just the community that surrounds it, people that are involved in the college from the administration on down, they make basketball a priority and they care about it. It's going to be.
All right, hang on, Coach. We're going to need you to not move your head. You're going to have to be stationary because we're losing you. You're coming in and out there real quick. Let's go back and just what your thoughts were on how Casper College reloads.
Gotcha. Sorry about that.
That's all right. You're probably doing 5 different things, aren't you? You're probably writing a starting lineup against LCCC right now.
Yeah, right. It's all about multitasking. No, I think what makes it so successful is really just the community that surrounds it and the administration here at Casper College really making athletics a priority, and really being supportive of it. I think the president, Dr. Devine, and on down, everybody is consistently at our games, consistently asking questions, wanting to be as helpful as possible. And then obviously our community support up here in Casper is second to none. With me having been in the West Texas League, seeing things firsthand, different levels and different areas of junior college. I mean, Casper is very, very competitive when it comes to being a top 20 job in the country because of all the consistency and what the people around the program and around the school help provide for the coaching staff and, just from a support standpoint. It's been great.
Coach, let's size up this Saturday's matchup with LCCC, where a team that comes into this contest, again, the 7th seed, only picking up 2 victories in North play, again, 4-24 overall. But when we talk with assistant coach Dwayne Salisbury on our post-game show, what we saw against CWC this past Saturday live at the Rack, Coach Salisbury was impressed. He basically said, hey, this is a team that I wish was trending or at least was doing what they're doing early on this season. In January, it was something to kind of build on and work towards at least point in time of the season. But right now, LCCC, the Golden Eagles starting to figure out things, starting to play that kind of full 40 at least minute contest. In your thoughts, Coach, on at least this LCCC team coming up, where right now they're improving, they're getting better at the kind of right time that Coach Ficca wants them to play at.
Right. Honestly, it's a little scary from our end, just because I think they are starting to improve, playing with a lot more confidence. They don't look like a team that's struggled this year. I mean, right now they're shooting it better. They're getting a lot of production from the guys that they probably thought they were going to be getting it from all year. So it's a challenge for sure, trying to make sure that our guys are locked in and really ready to compete at a high level, knowing that LCCC is a team coming in, they're planning on winning. They're not coming up here just to hang out, play, and get the season over with. I think Coach Ficca, knows what he's doing. He's been there for a long time. So, he ain't going to have those guys just kind of throwing in the towel. They're going to come up here and be really ready to compete. So, it is scary at this time of year when you see a team starting to really trend upward.
Coach, you have a lot of sophomores in the fold on your team, and again, recruiting as a head coach is a 360, well, this year 366 day for a year proposition. But again, you look at, you got the state tournament headed your way up there in a couple of weeks. Whether Casper's playing or not, we don't know. But the point is, do you try to get as much local talent to at least put their foot in the water at Casper College, or is it one of the situations they need to contact you?
A lot of it is people that contact us, but I think our job is to make sure that we find the right mixture of local guys that can fit in with some of the out-of-state talent that we get from all over the country, and actually even all over the world recently, having to get some really international guys that have been really successful here the last few years. We have a good idea of who in the state that we're recruiting or who we would be interested in having join our program. But, you know, a lot of times it is open communication. I mean, you know, I don't know everything. I don't know everybody as much as I like to try and tell people I do, you know. So I think it's usually a really good mixture and a really good combination of people, you know, being willing to let us know about good players and people they think would fit with our program, as well as us going out there and really getting a chance to see these guys in state with our own eyes.
Final thought for me, Coach, and we want to thank you in advance here for joining us today. You mentioned the international players, and again, the guys that make the trek across the pond and get to set up shop with Casper, or even in Cheyenne, or, you know, across the state of Wyoming. My question is to you: is there basketball play a little advanced, or are there things that you have to kind of reel them in a little bit, that they're either behind or they're a little ahead of themselves?
You know, it's interesting you ask that, because I mean, it's standardly, you know, they're usually really skilled players that are advanced from just a fundamental standpoint, have spent a lot more time on it probably as young men. You know, the difference is, I think, just getting used to the physicality of the college game over here in America, and you know, the officiating is a little bit more loose. You know, you're going to have to play through stuff, play through injuries, and play through a lot of physical guys. And, you know, honestly, I know most of our players have told us that the sheer size of everybody on the floor is just something they have to get used to. You know, you're dealing with 6'11" guys, 6'10" guys, and, you know, guys that are 220, 230, 240 pounds consistently night in and night out. So getting used to that is usually the biggest difference I've seen with my experience with a lot of the international guys.
Well, Coach, we want to thank you for joining us this afternoon on Wyoming Sports Talk today. All the best to you. And, again, I know you got a big contest coming up against LCCC Saturday afternoon at the Suite. So thank you again for joining us.
Yep, thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Shaun Gutting, men's head coach at Casper College. The T-Birds, as they will entertain LCCC. That is a 4 o'clock tap time coming up Saturday afternoon in the Oil City. Take a time out. We'll be back with more after this on 1480 KRAE.
If it happens on the diamond, the hardwood, the field, or even the ice, we'll talk about it on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Hi, this is Nick Peretti, inviting you to join Larry Peretti and myself each weekday from 3 to 5 p.m. as we, along with our special guests, talk sports locally, regionally, and nationally. And you can chat with us too at 307-514-1071. It's Wyoming Sports Talk today, only on 1480 KRAE, and you can stream live with us at 1480krae.com.
MHP is a certified public accounting and consulting firm located in Bow, Cheyenne, and Fort Collins, offering accounting, tax, and consulting services to businesses, not-for-profit, government, and individual clients. MHP takes pride in their commitment to providing close, personal attention to their clients. They also continue to invest time and resources in continuing education, state-of-the-art computer technology, and valuing their relationships with you. MHP is a proud supporter of local and UW athletics. MHP, 314 West 18th Street, or call 634-2151.
A diagnosis and treatment plan is now available at the tip of your fingers. Cheyenne Regional Medical Group is now offering Smart Exam, which puts our providers as close as your nearest smartphone or computer. There's no need to sit in a waiting room. Just answer simple questions about your non-emergent symptoms, and we will give you your treatment plan and prescription. This service is only available to our current adult CRMG patients who currently have MyChart accounts. To access Smart Exam, visit us at cheyenneregional.org/smartexam. Healthcare anywhere.
First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call the Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
Did you know B&B Appliance and TV has a local warehouse where they stock a variety of appliances in a wide range of colors and finishes, including black and white? Their friendly staff realizes that one look isn't for everyone, and appliance shopping isn't always convenient. B&B Appliance offers free in-town delivery and disposal of your old appliances. They'll be there for you after the sale too, because they always service what they sell. B&B Appliance and TV, 714 Central Avenue. Best brands, hometown service.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Well, we know where we're going to be at Saturday afternoon as we have a 4-5 matchup in the Northern Division, which will be LCCC Lady Golden Eagles taking on the Sheridan Lady Generals.
As we got the bracket out there, where again was one of the few that actually kind of put it out there on the social media side. But again, as for Laramie County, or at least LCCC taking on Sheridan, at least the Lady Generals, again coming up this Saturday up there at the Golden Dome. 2 o'clock is the tip-off time there between at least that 4 versus 5 matchup. Again, at least LCCC, the 5th seed, Sheridan, the 4th seed. Winner of that contest, it has been predetermined due to the fact that you have an even number of teams. Again, an option compared to the men where there's only one team that gets a bye. You do get the both North and South number 1 teams a bye. Winner of this contest, which will be in Casper College, gets the pleasure of taking on the number 2 nationally ranked Western Nebraska Lady Cougars team. That game on Thursday the 5th, again, as it will happen at Casper College. Casper College hosting the at least women's Region 9 tournament. Again, they will have the pleasure of taking on Western Nebraska, again, at 1 o'clock there at the Swede.
So we already know what the fate of the ladies are. We haven't really gone much into the guys. We've had a chance to talk with Coach Gutting here, and again, we've been in contact with Coach Salisbury and Coach Fickett throughout the course of the year. We talked with Steve Sosa over at Western Wyoming. But you look, and I'm glad you asked that question of Coach Gutting, because if you think about it, you look at the teams of Sheridan, Gillette, Western, Casper, Eastern, 5 teams right there. And then you look at the teams that we're struggling.
You're forgetting Central
and Central Wyoming, and then you look at LCCC and Northwest. I'm going to throw Northwest out.
Eastern, you kind of tuck away because, again, they were at least the 6th seed and, again, only picked up 4 victories, albeit, again, some quality victories, one being at home against Western Wyoming where they upset the Mustangs, again, nationally ranked Western Wyoming. But in the North Division, it was pretty much it's a wide open opportunity right now for teams to come away with that crown. Looking at the tournament, where it will get reseeded due to the fact of you'll have, for instance, South number 2 seed will take on the number 3 seed out of again whoever wins. Again, it just reshuffles of who's 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the 8 teams out of both North and South. But again, looking at the bracket for the men's tournament, which again this time first round are playing at those higher seed venues. Then, once you get into the quarterfinals, we'll head over to Rock Springs at Western Wyoming Rushmore Gym, where that will be the at least host gymnasium for the entire tournament. The only team that did get a bye, which is something as I was looking at this tournament, is Northeastern Junior College out of the South. They get a bye due to the fact that there are kind of odd number teams.
There's 7 teams in
the South. In the South, again, what makes the difference is North Platte Community College is D1 basketball on the men's side. They're Division II on the women's side. So again, North Platte is the only difference there in Region 9. But again, interesting that at least Northeastern gets the bye. Yet your Western Wyoming, at least Mustangs team out of the North, who is hosting this tournament,
they got to play.
They still got to play a first-round game, albeit at Rock Springs, albeit at against Northwest College, who they took care of business this past Saturday out there at Rushmore Gym. But kind of interesting setup that both number 1 seeds don't get that opportunity to have a bye.
Well, let's throw this out right now. We saw everybody from the South except for Lamar
this year. That was the only team that we did not see.
And you saw Trinidad on the
we
mid-side.
saw that they came up at the tournament. They played. We didn't play them.
I was in Chicago, so I did not
well,
see that
then
team.
we also had them.
But Trinidad State, who, again, they struggled a bit in the South, but they picked up quality wins. They got the upset win against Otero there at Trinidad State. So,
right.
Again, they're kind of on that Eastern Wyoming vein where they can compete against those top-level teams, but have kind of struggled a bit.
We went down to Sterling where LCCC lost by 10. They rallied back and almost
NJC, who
made
took care of business against Otero, is your number one team who won that South Crown. So
Otero kind of just worked us over, but and North
and Otero, who loses here at neutral site against Western Wyoming. It's pretty much from North and South.
Is the better talent in the North? That's my question.
You want to
the
say
North
so,
has been a bloodbath. Let's be real.
You want to
honest.
say so, but once we get into at least this neutral site, where for a lot of these teams, again, heading out to Rock Springs, anything and everything can happen.
Well, and again, I say,
and again, that's a long road trip. Again, we're talking Rock Springs. That is far west. It is immediate far for every single team here in the state of Wyoming, also too down in Colorado, and for Western Nebraska as well too. So again, all teams are pretty much on the even pace of it's long. You're in kind of that.
But I'm saying, though, 1 through 7 in the North. And, again, I'm going to throw LCCC in that mold in that mold, I should say, because we have seen the improvement over the last 3 games by LCCC. They have not put a 40-minute game together yet. Those 5-minute lulls
your perfect
have been
opportunity
killers.
is this Saturday. If you want to toss out that full 40 contest, guess what? If you do that LCCC, you're going to probably pull off that upset against Casper College.
Yeah,
I think there's a good possibility.
And with David Walker right now, and again, as Coach Gutting said, bringing him along slowly because he's under the weather.
Well, and again, we haven't had indications from head coach Jason Ficker or, again, assistant coach Dwayne Salisbury regarding the, at least, health status of Eric Oliver, of where he's at right now. Again, kind of, I would not, suspect, or at least I could anticipate that coaches, at least those coaches are probably keeping that out of the limelight. So again, it doesn't give Casper an advantage of
same thing too, though. When Walker did not play that first half when we were up at Casper, they plugged in Isaiah Banks.
Yeah.
Banks is just as capable. So, I mean, again, he's just as exciting as David Walker, but David Walker is the real deal. But I'm just saying, 1 through 7.
You have 2 of your top-level, or at least players. You have your big guys right now questionable for the upcoming Saturday's contest, which, again, it means a lot, especially for LCCC, where if Eric Oliver cannot go this Saturday up there against the Thunderbirds, it's going to take a miracle, without a doubt, for LCCC to get that victory. You need Eric Oliver on that court.
Right. The 3 sophomores, Dean, Cabs, and Zovko, can only do so much. And again, Courtney, he needs time off because he's on there, and I mean the guy's giving 110%. Zovko gets a little flat-footed defensively, but he is playing better defense as of late. Cabs has that propensity to get into foul trouble because he's going up against the big wheels underneath. You got Perry, you got Grace in the backcourt. Their shooting is not that of Eric Oliver. So, again, they do get a little silly as far as their shot selection. And then we've been having problems in the middle all season long. Davis is probably your best of the 3.
Caleb's starting to pick it up, or at least be a little bit more aggressive as, again, the recent contest.
But will work him like he did the last couple of times.
Without a doubt. We'll see what happens. But for LCCC, of how they've been playing of recent, it gives you a slight hope that they can get that victory, that upset victory up in Casper, but it's going to take a lot. Again, the one key piece is you need a healthy Eric Oliver on the floor, and also, too, you need a team effort where turnovers have not been an issue. It's more so this team that goes in the
slumps.
The scoring slumps, where, again, they cool down, and also, too, closing out contests as well. Again, go back to Central Wyoming, you had that contest. You had that victory in your hands, and in about 6-7 minutes remaining of that contest, you let it slip because you just ran out of gas.
And I think the loss to Eastern, where they went down on 6 consecutive trips, 3 of them they turned it over.
Yeah,
never even got a shot up, and those other 3 were one and dones. So you look at a lot of things have to fall into place for LCCC if they are going to be competitive. And again, Casper could blow them right out.
There's a good possibility.
There's a very good
Casper's
possibility
been
that
doing
will
that
happen.
throughout the season. Again, a Casper Thunderbirds team that, again, averages throughout the season around 100 points per game. So LCCC, that's sitting just below or if not around 70 points a game. So that tells you how big of a difference on the offensive side between these two, where, a 30-point at least advantage scoring average towards the Thunderbirds.
Again, you look at the Eastern matchup. I don't know if I want to play Eastern right now. I think they're playing a high-level brand of basketball.
Eastern, who will be traveling up north to Gillette this Saturday.
Yeah.
They will be taking on the Pronghorns.
Pronghorns they're good. I'm not going to take anything away from them. But if
they're not a dominant force of...
But Eastern can keep up with them running the ball.
Yeah.
If Arvidsson gets hot, that's going to be a tough guy to stop as well, too.
Yeah, there's some interesting matchups where, we'll see on at least out of the north side, Eastern at Gillette. That should be a competitive. You can't just hand it to Gillette at home in that one. Western Wyoming hosting Northwest. You would anticipate that Mustangs should take care of business.
If
Mustangs
you can't overlook them.
Yeah, again, Mustangs who do overlook their opponents on some contests, who do play down to their opponents, and they've done it before there at Rushmore Gymnasium. But you would think that this team should be a little confident, should take care of business against at least the Trappers.
You would think that they should win that, similar to, unfortunately say, that Casper College should have that same mindset
in a game
going away.
In a game that should be kind of a virtual coin flip, the 4-5, Central Wyoming, they will host in Riverton Sheridan College Generals. Sheridan, that shows stints that, yes, they can be competitive, but also to kind of, they've been up and down. They've been that kind of flatline team where they're trying to find that kind of upswing. Central Wyoming consistently.
You got to shut down Gwynn. That's the first thing they got to do. And again, Sheridan's smaller, so if they can shut down Darius Gwynn, they may come away with the victory.
And we know how tough it is to win in Riverton, where we talk about Casper, Gillette. Riverton's on that same vein where this LCCC, where we go back to last season. You get the regular season win at Riverton. The next weekend, you have to head back up to Riverton. And then Central Wyoming kind of just stepped it up and took care of business against LCCC in that first round game. So not an easy, at least road trip for Sheridan to Riverton to take on the Rustlers out there. But that kind of sizes up the matchups out of the South. Otero, number 2 seed, taking on North Platte, Community College North Platte. That's kind of taking a step back from where they were last season. You would anticipate in La Junta that Otero should win that contest. Lamar versus McCook. Don't know much about Lamar. Don't know much about McCook. But as your 4-5 matchup happening in Lamar, Colorado, the other, at least South matchups, will be Western Nebraska hosting in Scottsbluff, Trinidad State. That's a game you can't really hand to the Cougars, especially with Trinidad State. Again, they didn't have the prettiest of seasons, but Trinidad State, that has been competitive. They were competitive against Northeastern, competitive up here against LCCC, competitive and got the victory at home against Otero. So, again, the Trojans can get it done. Not an automatic victory for the Cougars happening in Scottsbluff. And then the other South team, again, NJC, Northeastern out of Sterling. They get the automatic bye. They're already moving on to the at least Region 9 tournament, at least the quarterfinals. They will await the reseeded number 4 team out of the North.
Before we go to our last break, I wanted to get to this real quick because we haven't talked about this. You know why we haven't talked about it? Because let's be real honest. Our team has just been banged up by injury all season long.
The Warriors?
Yeah. And
Steph's coming back, though, this weekend.
I understand that, and that's good. And
for whatever reason, why you might as well just sat him out.
I mean, they got 12 wins this year in the brand new Chase Center. But I was looking.
You might as well tank and go for that number 1 at least opportunity, or at least at the lottery.
Well, they
pick.
probably will. But the thing is, and I don't think with Steph coming back, that's going to mean tons of victories. But looking at the East right now, you have, and I just want to look 1 through 8 real quick while we had a shot. Milwaukee. I didn't realize how good the Bucks were. They're 50-8 right now.
Is that a surprise? No, Milwaukee's been trending upwards in the East, where Toronto losing Kawhi, who was kind of the big leader.
And
out
they're
there.
still number 2 in the East right now.
Again, they still have a solid core up there, but Milwaukee's been that team that has been trying to at least get to that point, to that kind of crest up there in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, Milwaukee's a legitimate shot, legitimate threat to win an NBA at least championship this season. whoever they face off, if they make it to the finals against the West, again, Milwaukee, they have a good shot.
You got Milwaukee, you got Toronto in at number 2, Boston. And again, this is all with about 24 to 26 games left. Boston's 40-17. The Heat, how about Miami?
Miami's been the big surprise.
Yeah, they really have ramped it up. Philadelphia's the number 5 seed right now at 36-22. Pacers 34-24.
Philadelphia, the 76ers, who are good at home at the Wells Fargo Center, a huffle on the road.
9-20 away.
Yeah.
Wow. Brooklyn waiting very patiently for
one KD, and we'll
KD.
see if he comes back for playoff times. Indications are they were flirting that it could be a possibility.
They would be nuts.
Whether it was finals or, again, that being Eastern Conference Finals or NBA Finals, that was the rumor, but all indications showing that he should not be back.
Yeah, Brooklyn's 26-30, and then the Magic bringing up the rear in the number 8 hole. They're 25-32. Believe it or not.
Go figure. In the Eastern Conference, you have 2 teams that are sub 500 in the playoffs.
And matter of fact, Orlando holds on to about a 4.5 game lead over Washington. The West again. And we thought the Warriors were going to win it last year until Toronto decided to swipe the trophy. But right now, you've got 4 teams really to watch out for. Obviously, the Lakers, 44-12. The Nuggets are still that number 2 team. They've been right at the top.
If you're Denver, you don't want to match up with the Lakers though in the Western Conference Finals.
You're going to be on the opposite side right now.
We've seen how that ends between those 2 teams, but Lakers, a legitimate shot, legitimate chance to win the NBA Finals. If it is Lakers versus Milwaukee, would not be surprised if that is a Game 7 series where toss up, you take whoever. You take whoever, again, be happy with that champion. But Denver Nuggets, yes, have a good shot. Last year's playoff run was a good opportunity for them, even though, again, didn't surprise me that they got upset and beat by Portland there in that early round. But Denver, I think that last year, or at least playoff stint by the Nuggets, should help them this season to advance to the Western Conference Finals.
Right.
Is it a team that gets past the Lakers, gets past possibly a Clippers team to head on and represent the West in the NBA Finals? I don't see it.
And right now the Clippers are the number 3 seed. Houston's number 4.
I don't trust Houston. Houston has never proved anything. They've always been a top team of recent where they find a way to just shoot themselves on the foot. And again, I look towards more, you got the hotheads.
So with either Westbrook
well, again, the hothead that is Russell Westbrook and also the hothead that is James Harden. You don't trust either of those guys when it comes to playoff time.
Right.
We've seen both of them collapse. When again, it's kind of that gut check time in those spotlight moments, whether it is for Houston, whether it is for OKC, they find a way to shoot themselves in the foot. Houston, I don't trust. Houston, they could make it back to the Western Conference Finals.
But then they would have the Lakers. They're on the same. They'd be on the same side.
They're not being the Lakers
though. Then you have the Jazz at number 5. OKC, the Thunder this year. They are at number 6. The Mavericks sneaking back in possibly playoffs. They're in at the
Mavericks
number 7
are
hole.
an interesting team where matchup right now against the Nuggets. Could Mavs pull off that big time upset? Could be. I think the Mavs could make that a competitive series.
No, I don't think so. I disagree with that one. And then you have the Grizzlies in at number 8. They're the only team under the Mendoza line right now. You have the Trailblazers on the outside looking in. They're about 3 games out. Pelicans, now that you got Zion back, do they make a run? Don't know.
Doubtful.
Don't know.
The only team that's surprising where it looks like the streak is going to end, that being the San Antonio Spurs, where I think for 15, 16 seasons they've been in the playoffs. They're looking to be on the outside, at least looking in, be part of that at least early draft process for the NBA. So that's kind of a surprising thing to see that at least the magic out there in San Antonio has now kind of gone to the wayside.
It's interesting, though, we were talking about the Warriors because we haven't really talked much about it, but you look at just how decimated this team has been with the injuries. Clay out for the year. We've lost Steph Curry since about the first month of the season? He's been gone.
At least with the hand injury.
You had Draymond, who was injured.
He's been up and
down. D'Angelo Russell's been in and out of the lineup.
Well, he's gone now completely because, again, you traded him for
Well,
Wiggins.
I know, but I'm just saying, you had him in and out of the lineup. So, I mean, this team has just had no ebb and flow at all this year. So, 12-46, not even surprised at how bad that is. The team that really shocked me, and we watched them. We were down at the Talking Stick Resort Arena. I figured the Phoenix Suns were about that 500 team this year. And
they prove that they're
they're trending downward
terrible
again. Yeah. So anyway, all right. Do want to take a timeout. We come back. We haven't looked at the National Hockey League in a while, so we'll take a look at the National Hockey League right after this on 1480 KRAE.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
You're looking for fun and style? Then the new 2019 Kia Optima has what you need. And here at Kia of Cheyenne, we can help you own one. I'm AJ Miller, and the 2019 Kia Optima will reward your daily drive with comfort, performance, and advanced engineering. Kia Optima technology, your phone allows access to remote lock or unlock, climate control, 24-hour roadside assistance, and much more. Come in, call 775-0123, or go to KiaofCheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
Capital Lumber is number one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need.
Since 1966, family-owned and operated Capital Lumber Company has been the stop for all lumber, paint, tools, accessories, remodel and do-it-yourself projects, and so much more. Now, Capital Lumber Company announces the beginning of a tasty relationship with Traeger Grills, as they now have in stock several models of Traeger Grills, along with pellets and accessories. Capital Lumber Company at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne. What is Schwab's modern approach to investing? It's great service. It's transparency about how much you're paying in fees and commissions. It's offering some of the lowest costs in the industry backed by a satisfaction guarantee. If you're not satisfied for any reason, they'll refund the eligible fees and work with you to make things right. So ask yourself, are you getting low cost and award-winning service? If not, maybe it's time to call Schwab. Visit Sam at the Cheyenne Independent Branch or schwab.com/Cheyenne for more information. Charles Schwab and Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC. What's the difference between buzz driving and drunk driving? The answer is none. Buzz driving is drunk driving, period. Make sure you make responsible choices that don't endanger yourself and others. Take the pledge today. I'm going to be smart. I won't drive while buzzed. One drink is one too many when you're on the roads. If you drink, have a designated driver. Don't become a statistic and don't get arrested. Simply put again, buzz driving is drunk driving. And always remember to buckle up. Paid for by Federal Highway Safety Funds. All you good folks in Laramie and Goshen counties, listen up, please. Cheyenne Urological is now operating a satellite clinic in Torrington at 524 College Drive. Yes, top quality treatment for prostate cancer, urinary tract infections, kidney stones, impotence, and incontinence will now be provided by the highly trained staff of Cheyenne Urological in Torrington. So save yourself a trip and take advantage of the same wisdom, compassion, and expertise that served Cheyenne for over 30 years. Call Cheyenne Urological at 307-635-4131.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be partly cloudy with highs around 37 and winds out of the west at 15 to 20 miles per hour. For tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 27 and winds out of the west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. On Thursday, it'll be sunny with highs around 39, and on Thursday night, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 25.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ballgame. Let's play ball! You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
As we're getting into the, the dog days of winter for the National Hockey League, where we're looking at anywhere between 20...
You have about 26
20
games.
to 18 games left.
26, 28.
No. Blues got 64 in, so they only have 18 left. The Avalanche, as we look at the Central Division...
Oh, yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah, I miscalculated 82, add a little bit more, but yeah.
The Avalanche, for example, Nick, have 3 less games skated than the Blues, and the Avs only 5 points behind. So that's 2 wins and a tie.
Yeah, again, they have a big at least contest coming up tonight where they need to get it done. Again, Avalanche, I think, at home for a good amount, at least majority of the next couple of weeks, where they have some good opponents in front of them where they should take care of business. But right now, with the playoffs started, Avalanche would be at least in the playoffs. They would be at least the third team representing out of the Central Division. So looking at the rest of the West, though, Vegas sits atop, at least in the Pacific Division, again, even though they're 2 points ahead of Vancouver. Vancouver, that has been a big surprise. The Canucks, Vancouver has played 2 less games than the Vegas Golden Knights, so we'll see. But Vegas right now out of the West is one of the hottest teams who have won 6 straight. We'll see what happens tonight where they got a big one to kind of keep Edmonton at bay. Edmonton, that's also 2 points behind them. Again, they have a big one in at least T-Mobile Arena there in Las Vegas.
And Calgary better not fall asleep on Arizona, who are 2 points behind them. And Arizona has
that has been a up and down franchise where they were leading the Pacific at a point in time. Have now taken a bit of a step back, albeit again they're only 6 points behind the Vegas Golden Knights.
But they played the most games though. They've skated 66 games, so everybody else in that division.
But Arizona is now starting to come back down to reality where everyone anticipated that they would be a playoff-bound team. They're on the outside looking in, and we'll see what happens with Calgary and the rest out of that Pacific.
Out of that Western Conference, though, and you tip your cap to the Avalanche. And again, especially in the Central Division, they have 3 less games skated than the Blues, 2 less than the Dallas. They have the best road record out of the Western Conference. They are 29-2 on the road. At the Can, they're 16-9-5. So this team can win anywhere. And in their last 10 games, they're 7-2-1. So, like you said, Avalanche got a big contest on tap for
looking at the Western Conference right now. Playoffs started. St. Louis, Dallas, and Colorado are your 1, 2, 3 out of the Central. 1, 2, 3 out of the Pacific. Vegas, Vancouver, and Edmonton. Your wild cards are Calgary and Nashville. Winnipeg just behind them. Arizona, Minnesota, Chicago, Anaheim, San Jose, and Los Angeles. San Jose has been the biggest disappointment. Where a team
they've fallen right out of the mix.
And again, they run into a lot of injuries. So the Sharks again near dead last, just ahead of the LA Kings, where the Kings have been dead last for quite some time. But San Jose, your surprises in the Western have been the Sharks of how bad they've been this season. But
all 3 of the California teams are laying an egg right now.
Well, and again, Anaheim is going through a new regime out there. The Ducks, again, a young team, or at least it's a team that is, you got your aging veterans that again, they're not in their prime, but they're trying to teach some of the young, at least guns that they're bringing up from San Diego, from their AHL team. It's a young team, new head coach out there. Anaheim did not anticipate them to do a whole lot this season, but San Jose, they're in the same vein. They got a lot of very old, very aging veterans. And again, you're trying to bring in the young guns out of the San Jose Barracuda franchise to kind of mix well right now. And again, it's a team that's developing, and it's going to take a couple seasons for both of them to probably get back into kind of playoff bound out there in the Western Conference. But looking on the east side of things, Boston, no surprise that they are the best team in the land at 90 points, leading the Atlantic. Tampa Bay is right behind them, no surprise. Toronto, number 3, no surprise. Same culprits as what we saw last year in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, but Tampa Bay's not running away with it like they did last year.
Again, Boston.
And then they got blown out.
Yeah, but Boston is the better team. We know that. Again, they proved it last year, making it to the NHL Finals, taking it to a Game 7 where they eventually lost to St. Louis. So no surprise, though, that those 3 teams are in it. Again, seeding, that's neither here nor there. We saw those number 1 seeds last year exit out early. So for Toronto and also too for Tampa Bay's sake, they're pretty happy that they're not in that number 1 spot to get upset once again. Out of the Metro Division, you got Washington up ahead at number 1, no surprise. Pittsburgh there at number 2. Philadelphia Flyers, a bit of a surprise, but again, kind of was anticipating that. They're number 3 in the Metro. And then the wild card, New York Islanders, team that was in it last year. Columbus Blue Jackets, the second wild card team that was in it last year. So in the East, not a whole lot of parity. In the West, just slightly. But that's more in the Pacific right now with San Jose kind of trending downwards and Vancouver being that new face.
In the Metropolitan Division, though, you look at the Rangers to the Islanders, 5 points to get into that wild card position. So I get, again, the Metropolitan Division is the more, I guess, competitive division in the East.
The only team right now, as we are 16 games away from Again, wrapping up the 82 schedule. Only one team has been eliminated from the playoffs, and it was no big shocker, but that being the Detroit Red Wings, who have been, of recent seasons, just awful. Been terrible. They continue to trend downwards.
That's a very proud franchise.
A very proud franchise that has not been worth squat here in recent seasons. They sit with 34 points. Again, they have been officially eliminated from playoff contention. Where at the Joe, at least when it stood, you had a lot of banners, a lot of at least
reminders of how good they were.
Whether it was back when they were in the Western Conference, winning a lot of Western Conference championships, few Stanley Cups for the Red Wings. They're far from it right now.
All right, we got to wrap things up.